Hi children, welcome back. In this session, we are going to do the revision of first unit test. The syllabus included as 4th, 5th and 6th lessons. The 4th lesson is living things, 5th lesson is reproduction in plants and 6th lesson is the animal lifestyles. So today we are going to revise those lessons. Let us start with the 4th one, that is living things. Right. So things are two types. Things are two types, living and non-living. On the earth, things are two types, living and non-living. So how can you differentiate between living and non-living thing? The living things, they perform some activities, whereas non-living things, they are unable to perform. So let us see what are those. The first one is that living things has cells. They have cells. Living things body is made up of cells. So cell is a basic unit of life. Like for the wall, brick is the basic unit. Like that, for the total body, the cell is the basic unit. So one by one cells are added together and it forms the body. Right? For example, paramecium and amoeba, it contain only one cell. They are called unicellular, only single cell. Amoeba and paramecium. Amoeba and paramecium, their body is made up of only one cell. So they are called unicellular. Uni means one. Whereas other animals, dog, cat, man, all these things, they have multiple cells, including plant also. Right? So the cells, the organisms with more cells or many cells, they are called multicellular. It is unicellular, only one cell. These are multicellular, many cells. Many cells. Right? So, like this, each and every organism, it is made by cells. So, living organism, they have active participating cells. Here, even though it is a single cell, they perform the total activities that we are doing. Reproduction, breathing, digestion, all will be done by single cell. Right? So it is about the cell. And second one, living things grow. Living things grow. The cells, they get divided. The cells get divided, means one cell become 2, 2 become 4, 4 become 8, like this. So after division, they become multicellular. They become multicellular. So when it become multicellular, the small things become bigger. For example, here it is the child, a kid, and here is the young man. You should not say that the cells present in the young man are big and for the children small. The cells are same in size in both, but the number of cells are more in the young man and less in the child. That is the difference. For example, small onion, big onion, both have same cells, same size of cells, but the number of cells are more in the onion, big onion, less in the small onion. That's it, right? So, however the cells grow, the body growth takes place and plants never stops growing. Plants, they keep going on growth, nana. They won't stop growth. Whereas for other animals, they won't grow lifelong because there is no such a mechanism to grow the cells lifelong, right? And next, living things show respond. Living things show response. For example, whenever the teacher enters into the classroom, automatically you are going to stand and wish them, right? So, and if you are playing outside, if suddenly rainfall occurred, then automatically you will go for shed, right? So these are the response. For example, if you switch on the light, the cockroach will run towards the dark colored zone or dark zone. And whereas touch me not plant, if you touch the plant, it is going to close the leaf. So plants and animals, all over, whatever the living things are there, they show response. They can able to detect the surroundings by the sense organs, eyes, nose, tongue, skin, ears, right? By using sense organs, they are going to detect the change occur in the outer environment and it shows the response as per it, right? So living things respond. And next one, living things can breathe. Living things can breathe. So breathing means inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation and exhalation. In inhalation we take oxygen into the lungs. From the lungs oxygen enter into blood. From the blood carbon dioxide enters into lungs. See here. Here it is the blood, for example. From the blood CO2 enters into lungs, and from the lungs O2 enters into blood. So blood purification occurred, this CO2 is exhaled out, and this oxygen now enters into our cells. It enters into our cells and it releases energy from the food. So simply breathing is the energy giving process, right, where the oxygen go and releases the energy present in the cell, right. So each living thing it show breathing. The energy releasing process will be there in all living organisms. Organisms का मतलब living things, right. So these are the characters. And next, reproduction. They show reproduction. Re means again, production means development, right, generating. Here the living things, they can able to produce the exact copy of them. For example, if it is a mango plant, the mango seed can able to produce another mango plant, right. A cat gives birth to another cat, a dog gives birth to another dog, elephant gives birth to another elephant. So whatever the organisms are animals which lay eggs, they are called oviparous. And whatever the animals that give birth to babies, they are called viviparous. Oviparous, viviparous. Parous means generating. Ovi, throw the egg. Ovi means egg. Vivi means body, means birth to baby, right. Oviparous and viviparous. Like this, the living things, they show these characters, and they can able to sense, they can able to consume the food, they can able to digest the food. Whereas plant can produce spores if it is a non-flowering. If flower is not there, then they produce spores. Fern plant, right, pinus plant, fern plant and fungus, mushroom, they develop spores. Whereas flowering plants, they produce seed. If you sow the seed will become new plant, right. So in this manner, for example, plants are autotrophs in nutrition. If you take the nutrition, plants are autotrophs, they can able to produce their own food by photosynthesis. Whereas all animals are heterotrophs. Why they are heterotrophs? Because they depend upon other for the food. They consume food from the either plant or animal. So they are heterotrophs. Plants are autotrophs. So like this, living things, they show different characters, right. With this fourth lesson completed. Next, fifth lesson, reproduction in plant. As we discussed earlier, the mosses, mushroom and fern plant, they produce spores because they are non-flowering plants, right. Mosses, you can you can see the video again, the previous video. So mosses, fern, mushroom, they produce spores because they are non-flowering plants, they don't have flowers, right. Then come to another mode of reproduction is that asexual reproduction, where there is no involvement of gametes. Right. So here, when you see here, with the plant parts, they can able to generate new plant. For example, stem of sugarcane. If you cut the sugarcane into pieces, if you sow this piece in the soil, then from this part there is a growth of new plant, right. And whereas the stem, like tubers, potato tuber, it contain eyes. If you sow the eyes in the soil, then it will become new plant, right? Even onion bulb, it produces new plant through the stem. And as well as ginger also produced by the stem, right? And next come to root, right? Here sweet potato root can produce new plant from the root. And as well as stem part, a twig ka matlab a small part of the plant, right? So flowering plants, mostly flowering plants, flower giving plants like rose and jasmine, they can or otherwise money plant, they can able to reproduce by its twig or stem, right? And now come to stem, root, flower. Now by the flowers, reproduction by flowers. So here flower contain four main parts. We will say what are those? Flower contain four main parts. Now say. Very good. Okay. Now see, the first part is sepal, the green colored protective one, and colorful one is the petal, and the middle one is the carpel or pistil, and it is stamen, right? Stamen it contain filament and as well as anther. In the anther there is male reproductive cell, it is called pollen grain, it is in powdery form, pollen grain. You could able to see the powder that is stuck to your fingers when you touch the flowers like rose, etc. Right? These pollen grains present in the anther, it falls on stigma. It is stigma, style, and ovary. In the ovary there is ovule. In the ovule there is egg cell, ovum, right? So now ovum is the female reproductive cell, pollen grain is the male reproductive cell. Now this pollen grain, it comes and reaches to the ovum, it gets fertilized. Now it becomes zygote. Zygote develops into seed, and ovule becomes seed cover, and ovary becomes fruit. Now if you sow this seed in the soil, you are going to get new plant. Then the seed germination takes place, right? Already we discussed about seed germination, right? And now come to sixth lesson, animal lifestyles. In animal lifestyles we discussed about three things, that is about its feeding, about its breathing, and about its body movement, right? Now come to feeding. Here, according to food taking process, the animals are divided into three types. What are they? Food habit, depending upon food habit. Herbivorous, carnivorous, and omnivorous. What are called herbivorous? Herbivorous matlab plant or plant parts. Only plant or plant parts eating animals are called herbivorous. Only flesh eating animals are called carnivorous. And omnivorous means both plant and animal. Plant and animal eating organisms are called omnivorous organisms. So herbivorous example, what do you call cow, buffalo, giraffe, elephant, rabbit, all these are examples. And carnivores, here squirrel, rabbit, rat, they contain front teeth, sharp front teeth, right? So these sharp front teeth are called incisors. These incisors also present in us, but not this much sharp, right? So longer and sharp front teeth, with this they can able to gnaw. Gnaw means can able to break the seeds, right? So these kind of animals which have longer incisors, they are called rodents. They are called rodents. The animals with sharp incisors, longer incisors, right? So carnivorous animals, they are lion, tiger, and eagle, hawk, etc. They eat only animals. Next, omnivorous, both plant and animal. For example, human being, dog, cat, and sparrow. All these are omnivorous. They eat what you call plant product as well as animal product. Next, come to breathing. So in case of human being, there is a pair of lungs, and here in inhalation air enters in, right, and oxygen is enter into blood, and from the blood CO2 enters into our lungs. Now CO2 comes back in exhalation. Oxygen enters in through the inhalation and carbon dioxide comes out in exhalation. This is about human being. And whereas fish, in case of fish there are gills. At the gills there is hemoglobin which catches the oxygen here. Gills are present in the fish. And next come to frog. In case of frog, frog, here it respires through the skin and as well as it contains lungs, skin and lungs. When it is in baby form, in the form of tadpole it is. Tadpole contain gills. So frog contain gills, skin and lungs. And earthworm it breathes through the body surface. It breathes through the body surface. Right? Whenever the frog is on the land by the lungs, when it is in the water through the skin it respires. Right? And next cockroach. In case of cockroach, at the sides it contains holes. All insects they have holes at the sides. These are called spiracles. By the spiracles the air enters into trachea, so it is called tracheal respiration. Right? So like this, oxygen enters in and carbon dioxide comes out. Right? So it is about breathing. And body movement. Here some animals they can able to walk by the legs. Right? So here, if for example if an animal it contain 4 legs, if it contain 4 legs, for example if it is dog, now it contain 4 legs. The front legs are called forelegs and back one called hind legs or limbs. 4 limbs, hind limbs, right? In case of us, the 4 limbs become hands and hind limbs become legs, right? So they walk by using these limbs, the walking animals. And whereas in case of bird, the 4 limbs, front legs, they become wings. They become wings so that they can able to fly in the air. They can able to fly in the air. When they push the air down, it moves up. And whereas some animals they don't have legs. They don't have legs. For example, snake. Snake it crawls on the ground by forming looping and touching the body surface to the. It is the loop and it touches the body surface to the ground. By rubbing the ground, it moves. Right? And like that, the what you call, even the earthworm also move like that. This is about bird. And come to fish. Fish have strong muscles in them and they can able to move. They can able to move by using its tail and fins. Tail and fins. By using tail and fins, by moving side by side, it can able to move its body. So like this, the organism shows many movements. And now come to migration of birds. Here migration means moving from uncomfortable environment to comfort zone, right? So harsh zones to safest zone for the food and breeding. Here Arctic tern, it flies from the Antarctic to Arctic. During summer it breeds and again it comes back to the Antarctic, right? And Siberian crane, from the Russia, Siberia, it comes to India during winter. And whereas butterfly, monarch butterfly, from Canada to Mexico, they travel like this. So this is called migration, right? I hope you understand this lecture and read well. I will conduct unit test 1 very soon, right?